Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at bench testing a Volvo, however you want to pronounce it. Different people pronounce it different ways. It's a VED13 ECM out of the V&L. So this particular ECM has two connectors on it. They're 62 pin connectors, and the connector on this one here is the same style connector as on the Packard, oddly enough, but they do have a different pinout. So today we're going to be using again the DPA5 and a breakout harness for the Volvo. This particular harness has two connectors, a gray and a black. Okay, now the black one here is for J1708. We're not going to be connecting with J1708, so we don't even need to put this one in, but we'll just do it anyway. And the connection we're going to be using is the OBD2 connection, because it has the two CAN channels in this particular harness. In this particular harness, the CAN 2 pins are missing on the 9 pin, but they're available in the OBD2 pin connector. So what we're going to do is we're going to test the coolant temperature sensor again, as we have done with other ECMs. For this particular one, I'm going to pop the cover off here. Just bear with me. Just use a little tool to get under the cover and pop it off. And you'll see that the communications, power, ground that are provided by this connector are also where the pins are that I need to connect to for the coolant temperature sensor. So the coolant temperature sensor needs to go into pin 6, and I think it's 26 here. Let me have a look. 27. So pin 6 and 27 as indicated over here. Here, pin 6, pin 27. So what we did was we just made up some connectors with a little pin on the end, and we put a thermistor on the end of that right here. And these pins just shove in here. The way you do this is you release the lock here, like that. Then you shove the pin in. It'll click with the little wings to the side. Shove the pin in. It'll click, and then when it clicks, you can just slide this back to lock them in place, like that. And that's all there is to it. If you have to remove a pin, you're going to be using a removal tool such as this. You release it here and stick the tool into the little slots, push it in. It will push the little wings back and allow you to pull the cable out the back. So let's go ahead and put this cover back on. There. And then connect up our harness. OBD2, then we're going to connect power and ground. Power and ground. Okay, we're drawing 0.67 amps. That's good. I wanted to mention too that there are cables available for Volvo. This particular cable here, they're usually colored purple. The purpose of this is to swap the CAN pins. So if you're using a normal tool, like a generic tool, you're not going to be able to communicate to J1939, because J1939 on this particular model is on CAN 2, not on CAN 1. So this swaps the pins so that you can read CAN 2 on CAN 1, if that makes sense. PFDTool doesn't need that, because PFDTool will check all of the available CAN ports and determine which CAN port has which protocol. Okay, so now that we're connected and we're all set to go, we have our thermistor in place. We're going to go to the computer, to the PFDTool, and check that out. Okay, here we are at the software. First, I'd like to say, excuse my voice there. It's fall and it's the flu season, and I've been a little bit under the weather lately, so I do apologize. So here we have DPA5 Pro. We're using diagnostic tool 1.3.35.98 is the version we're using for these tests. We've gone in and we've selected a DPA5 Pro with a multi-application USB adapter. And we're connected to a Volvo Mac. And we've gone into our select Volvo parameters. And we've selected the parameters on the left. You check the box to add the parameter to the list, uncheck to remove. Select the little pin over here. It goes horizontal for not charted, and vertical if it's charted. That'll put it on the chart on the right here. You select all of the parameters that you want. And once you've have everything selected, you hit save. It'll save the parameters to the list here. And then you can go ahead and connect. So let's do that. So it's checking for the different protocols on the different CAN channels. It'll scan through and determine which channels have which protocol. And it's connected there now. It's checking for fault codes. It's come up with some fault codes. We'll have a look at those in a little bit. And here comes our streaming data. Now the engine coolant temperature, it shows 28 degrees Celsius, which is pretty close. It's about 25, 24 degrees Celsius in this room, in the shop right now. And we are on number 3, which is green. So we can go down here to the green bar here. And you see it's on 28. 28. So we're getting a reading from our coolant temperature sensors. So now we'll go over and we'll give it a little pinch to increase the temperature. So the temperature should have shot up there as I'm hanging on to it. And then let go and the temperature should start to fall. And there it goes. And it's starting to fall, or it's almost down to normal, back down to 28. So that concludes our test on the coolant temperature sensor, and we see that it is functioning. And if there is a problem or a fault code related to the coolant temperature sensor, it is more likely that the fault is in the wiring or the sensor itself. We can also go in and run some tests. We have 5 tests that are enabled, or 6. We have 6 tests that are enabled. Forced regen. You see here, it's the forced regen. We can't do one because the ECM is on a bench. We're not hooked to an engine, so we can't do an actual regen. We see we're starting to get our data here. So we'll cancel out of that. We have SCR regen. This particular test is not currently available. We're still working on that one. We have injector trim codes, relative compression test. Let's do that one first. So the relative compression test, you will crank it over and it'll measure the relative compression in each of the 6 cylinders. And we're not hooked to an engine, so we can't crank. Injector trim codes. We may not even be able to bring those up because we're on a bench test ECM. No. And SCR inducement mode, and get to ECM product information, ECM, ACM product information. So those are the tests that we currently have. What are called bi-directional or OEM tests in this software. It's all included in the pricing. You don't have to pay a fee to get access to any extra tests. Now let's have a look at the fault codes here. So you see on the fault codes, we're getting a series of codes. These codes here are the standard J1939 SAE codes. You get the fault code, the FMI, and the count. And the codes up here with a P or another with a letter in front of them, it could be a P or a U or a C. These are OBD2 standard codes. They're a 6-digit code with a failure mode as the last 2 digits. So 13 is an open circuit. 00 is no subtype information available. But these are all the OEM codes that came through. And there's a lot of codes because everything's open. The ECM is on a bench, so of course you're going to get a whack of codes. But these can all be cleared. When you hook this ECM back up to a vehicle, you just go in here and delete all DTCs, and it'll clear all the codes. You can print a DTC report, and that will print it to a form. You can put your own company logo on that form, and it'll pass all the information to that. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's a test on a Volvo VED13 ECM bench test for engine coolant temperature sensor functionality, and it passed. And if you like this this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Give us some feedback on it. Tell us what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see us do a test, some other type of test on a bench test type scenario, we'll be happy to do it for you and put a video out for it. If you have any questions, let us know. You can always go to our support forum, and also support tickets are available. They're all linked in our website. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell if you want to be notified of any new videos that are posted. And thank you very much for watching. We look forward to meeting up with you again. And again, I apologize. I have a bit of a cold today. So